caliber. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together.
And welcome to a very special edition of the podcast. We have with us today a very, very special guest, part of the Romans Warrior Foundation that we actually connected last year, Ray Dolph. Ray, thank you for joining us on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
So last year, the connection we had, we were just talking, before we got the camera rolling here, the connection of how we all came together is a really cool story. So the short version from my view, and then we'll get in with you with the details on this. So Romans Warrior Foundation, we bring the Global War on Terror Wall of Remembrance, 2 shields. We bring the Stop 22, the David Cobb Memorial race car. We bring the whole circus to Shields. Well, one of the events that we wanted to do was get several combat vets together and go to on site to basically for just a gathering, if you will, just to kind of get away from the scene. And your ranch was where we had the honor to come out and visit with. First off, how did that connection happen? I mean, who amongst us knew you and connected with you in the whole process here?
Well, basically, Brian Romans and Mike Gasparini, reached out, and we just haven't been crossing the last couple of years. And the first year I realized that you guys are out was when you guys were on your way back.
Oh, okay.
And connected with Brian and Mike. We just kept playing phone tag. Then we forgot about it. Then a month before you guys showed up, Brian, hit me up.
Okay, so it was.
And Mike hit me up, and since we all served together, it just fell into place.
That's awesome. So we go out there. We had Stephen Cochran was with us, Sal Gonzalez. Tyler couldn't make that one, I don't think. I don't think he made that. Brett Ross and his buddy, my wife and I, Mike and his wife, and Uncle Mike, he was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Uncle Mike's wife was out there.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. And then you and your family. And dude, you treated us to like the gold standard of food. Oh my God, the chicken. We still to this date, it's chicken that you raise basically from scratch all the way up. You do the butchering. It's everything. There is something going on at the grocery store, folks. I'll tell you that right now, because this chicken was nothing. It was so in a different class than the stuff we get at the at the stores and such.
Yeah, it's all pasture raised. Yeah, basically, off the internet, thanks to YouTube, Joe Salatin. He's a big natural farmer on the East Coast, Virginia.
Right.
I followed his designs, followed his basically mentorship on YouTube, and designed it all after that. So they're raised right there, not 40 yards from my house, but the pens move every day. They get grass and everything. So there's no medication, there's no vaccines, there's nothing pumped into them except protein that they get on the ground, and of course chicken feed I get to them.
Right.
Yeah. So they all finish up about 7 pounds. So we get a whole family together and we butcher them out over a day, and it's a whole thing.
That is so awesome.
My young girls are into it. My son comes out and his girlfriend come out. We all get done together. My neighbors and their parents and grandparents, and because they all enjoy it.
And it's that community piece, man, that is so important. It's so vital.
Yeah. They need to know where their food comes from.
Oh yeah.
Especially kids. And we've had kids out there that from the city that have never seen it before.
Right.
At first they got kind of squeamish. Then 5 minutes later, I'll do it. I'll gut the chicken. I'll cut the heads off. I'll help do that stuff. The washing and the packaging and the freezing. It's all done that day.
I think it's you start to get a connection piece then with the importance of being good stewards of land, stewards of farming with animals. That it's not what goofballs out there think that is this, violent, situation. No, this is a symbiotic relationship that's taking place out there. And when you, like you said, when you can connect the dots, man, that's huge, especially for the younger generation.
They gotta go away from the feedlot style like we used to do 60, 70 years ago, like my grandparents did. They still row crop, but they raised everything else. They raised cattle, they raised chickens, goat, whatever.
Right.
But it was all off their land, and then rotated through, and they sold them on seasons, and where they kept the farm growing. There's no big contracts with these mega corporations that are poisoning your meat or anything. So, I mean, I loved going out there when I was a kid and watching what they do.
Right.
But I knew I wasn't a farmer, so that's why I joined the Marine Corps and did that route. So
Raptor 6 Ranch.
Yeah.
You just mentioned you're a retired Marine. How, before we get into talking about the service, how did you, so you kind of raised up around it? You kind of knew this is where you wanted to go afterwards? Or
no, I just had the opportunity. I always wanted to, ranch. My dad had grown up on the farm. He was, he's a Navy veteran, and he suffered and sacrificed to buy the place we're at now in the 70s after my parents split up. And I just knew I wanted to go out there.
Wow.
And so I was about to go to Afghanistan for my 5th trip over there. And I was calling my dad up. I was with Headquarters 6. And he's like, hey, I'll build you a house and give you 37 acres if you retire. This is a no-brainer.
Let me think.
Yeah. So I was blessed on that aspect. And I put my papers in the next day. As I say, the command wasn't happy. They really wanted me to go. And a year later, I was out here, retired.
That's awesome.
So went right to work in the oil field and did that for 10 years until my wife passed away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you worked the oil fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're in the right area out there in eastern Colorado. There, you're considered eastern, aren't you? Or is it still more central?
Yeah, it's more northeastern.
Northeastern, yeah.
Yeah,
where you're at. I still got you pinned on my map, on my Google map there for the time we had to go out there.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna find that.
Yeah, this is gonna be dirt roads everywhere. Running around out there.
One time there were all dirt roads.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
a trail going to the house. I'm not joking.
That's awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about United States Marine Corps.
Yes.
Your dad was a Navy vet.
Uh-huh.
So you're like, all right, I'll see your Navy and up you one, and here comes the Corps.
Well,
when did you get in?
Well, I went to boot camp December of 90.
90. Wow.
Yeah. So I enlisted in the infantry, and then Desert Storm happened, and then it was over. And so they started rearranging MOSs and just pulling everyone that had high scores out of the infantry and saying, you got to go over here.
Wow.
We don't need you anymore. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, they're just like, well, then get out because we're 120% and we're drawing down. So they made me electrical-optical ordnance repairman.
Wow.
Basically, spark chaser. I fixed missile guide systems and optics and stuff. And it was a good fit because I like to fix stuff and everything.
Right.
So did that for several years. Picked up Chief Warrant Officer in 2005. So
nice.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Yeah. After that, I went to 2nd Light Armor Reconnaissance to be their ordnance officer. By the way, we're losing a lot of combat officers over there, infantry officers, and they were short. So hey, you're getting the QRF. So by the way, you're HNS Company XO, and so you're doing 3 jobs right now. So that's what you'll be doing for the next year and a half.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So we did that. Came back, did a separate tour, 2nd tour with 2nd LAR. So that was 3, and between those we had to go over to back to Iraq for a pre-deployment survey where we got to the Cohen Academy in Taji with the special forces group over there.
Right.
So I consider that my fourth.
Right.
It wasn't a tour, but it was my fourth trip.
Now, was it on your first tour that you and Brian and Mike served?
No, with the other guys. Yeah, my first tour during the invasion, I was a platoon sergeant for tank maintenance platoon with second tanks.
Gotcha.
The other guys were a second LAR, and he was a platoon sergeant with second LAR for battalion maintenance.
Gotcha.
So we had just crossed paths together,
Right.
traded parts, and arranged. Because my techs looked at a lot of their tows and vice versa.
Okay.
When we're running through there, we're switching out parts and haggling and everything. Basically, if they needed some cables, hey, I'm out of Copenhagen. What do you got? We're back and forth doing that
Right.
stuff.
And that's. I just want to say this as a citizen in the 2000s.
Yeah.
When I heard about the armor situation with the Humvees, and I heard, about supply issues of what you guys were forced to go do, I can tell you that the amount of anger that I felt personally that what the hell are we doing with the finest fighting force on the planet? And we're sending you guys over, to on such a critical mission of what we're doing in this area, and yet feels like they're, cigarettes and batteries, man. That's what it felt like to me. I'm like, the hell is this? Are we America or what? It really got underneath my skin personally, but it again, just a testament to you guys. Especially I have learned something about Marines. There is no quit. There is no option other than just finish it.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
Complete the mission, troop welfare second.
Yes, sir.
And for us, we didn't know any better.
Right.
Sandbags, we're like, well, our dads and grandparents used them. Well, we can use them too. Just put sandbags on the bar, take the doors off, and let's fly. And that's what we did.
Crazy.
We didn't have IEDs that we had to worry about. We weren't going. We never trained for mount all the time.
Right.
So we trained for open warfare, jungles, and stuff. I spent most of my times in the jungles of Southeast Asia, training there, and going to the desert. We're like, okay,
right.
We're Marines. We were always short food. We always had old equipment. We're used to shit breaking all the time.
Right.
So it really didn't bother us at all.
Yeah.
It
It bothered some of us there because we didn't think you guys should be dealing with that. It's crazy.
I actually got in trouble one time for using a backhoe to dig our fighting trench. You're like, what are you doing? Smarter, not harder. No, we don't use that. Get you too long. Okay, fine.
You gotta stay hungry.
Yeah. I just traded a log of Copenhagen for the Seabees to use their backhoe. Now I'm toast. That's fine.
That's crazy, man. So you entered into with Storm, and then when 9/11 situation took place, you had a couple deployment, four tours through there. You got when did you get out?
Well, I retired in December 2010.
2010. Okay. Wow.
Exactly 21 years after I enlisted.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And you were a chief warrant officer?
I was Chief Warrant Officer 3.
That's awesome.
Ordnance officer. Yeah, it was really fun time. I loved being a Chief Warrant Officer.
I bet.
Yeah.
I'm not a veteran, but I did have a small stint, different podcast episode with the Navy myself, and the warrant officers, man, there was almost more respect, handed to them than a lot of the commissioned, that we would see. You'd see a lot of ensigns, and so forth that wouldn't even bat an eyelash if a warrant officer went by and there was no salute, that took place, on base there. Now, ensign, they knew to keep their mouth shut. This guy's been in, 20, 30 years. He's, he's got his, he's got something else he's working on right now. So
as a Chief Warrant Officer 3, if it was captains and below, we really didn't worry about it.
Yep.
You get the field grades, then you start doing it. But if, I knew Chief Warrant Officer 5s and would salute anybody below a lieutenant colonel. So
gotcha.
Good
stuff.
It's a best rank that I know.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of respect that comes with that. So, and then Brian starts reaching out to you just from you guys' connection, your time in service. That he was coming in here, so we get out there. There's something that I have learned also about Marines. I have the privilege to work around a lot of you guys,
right?
With Brian and Mike. I have met, and now actually with the All American Kayak Series, the creator or founder of the Feast is a retired Marine.
Oh, nice.
Josh Booth, yeah. And so I have an opportunity, to talk with him, and there's a lot of common denominators. One of the best ones, one of the most prevalent ones, is serving others.
Yeah.
Ray, you opened up your entire ranch to us to come out there. A bunch of us were strangers, that you didn't even know, but there were enough Marines in there, that were coming in that it's, guaranteed it's family already, right out the gates. And we had such an amazing time hanging out with your girls. Your girls are into barrel racing, right?
Yeah, my youngest is really into barrel racing. They both show in ranch riding and rating and AQHA.
Wow.
And it's really, we've done that for several years. After their mother passed, it really just cemented us together to keep everything going. And horses just play a big factor in that.
Oh, yeah.
The responsibility and the love they give you back, they're working for you. We do a lot of barrel racing up in Gill, Colorado.
Okay.
With an organization called Lucky You Barrel Racing. So we're there almost every Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then we do shows every now and again, as time permits. My oldest daughter's a trainer. So, she'll take horses and break them. She's very, I like to call her horse whisperer because she's not hard with them or anything, but they'll follow her and she'll break them. Like our 4-year-old stud we got right now. We bought him as a yearling, and he's a pussycat now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So one of the other folks that joined us at the ranch there was Miss Michelle Kay of Operation Equine, that she does, equine assisted, therapy services and such. And so, we've, and she's a friend of the RWF. She's a part of the family. Yeah. She was saying that when she had a chance to go out there with your girls out to the barn and look at the horses, she come back, she goes, "These are horses." I still remember that, when she's like, "Yeah, no, these are not work horses. These are horses."
Yeah.
A lot of time and energy put into them.
They got a lot of work. It's every day, twice a day, riding. My girls do most of the riding. I try to get out there a couple times a week, but I'm mostly pushing cows and fixing fences. Right. And doing everything to keep it running. Yeah. So it's a great time. We have 3 registered quarter horses that we, one of them I nicknamed Chesty, of course, after Chesty Puller. So he's basically my horse. Right. No, I own all of them, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
So he's won almost everything under my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter had got 5th in the youth world when she was, 18. And,
oh, wow.
So they're all going back and forth. It's a great time.
That is awesome, man. So I grew up as a kid, I was around a lot of dairy farmers. Uh-huh. And to them, horses are what they call hay burners. Yeah. That's all horses. Yeah. So is that, is it an odd thing that a beef cattle guy has horses, or is that pretty common?
It's pretty common.
Okay. So it's just the dairy guys that don't want to deal with them.
Well, they got to work. They milk it 3 times a day. Yeah. 24/7. It's not easy work. It's so. No. I know so many guys in the Marine Corps that came off dairy farms and swore they would never go back. They always said, we want them to be the rich beef guys down the road that hardly worked, and we're over here 24/7. We can't even go on vacation. Yeah. It's like,
it's a hard, the dairy, especially in today's landscape. Colorado's kind of goofy on the dairy side. They don't have a lot of small dairies here. What they have
they're all huge.
They're big. Yeah, you have to if you're going to try to make a living at it.
Yeah, there's the tax, write-offs and everything. Like we used to have big pig farms here until they ended the tax schemes for them. Oh. Then they all moved east.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, in Minnesota and so forth, there's a lot more smaller size, medium sized dairies that way, like upstate New York, same thing. They can actually get away with it, there, but they don't have, the sprawling land like we do.
No,
there's a lot of hills,
trees. And here, since the cities have grown up so big, they found out that it's, they make a lot more money raising their alfalfa and selling it to horse people
Yep.
than, working 24/7 off a dairy. So why wouldn't you?
Right.
My neighbors, they dairied for 30 something years. And one day they said, we're done. And they were making a lot more money off their alfalfa by selling it to the ranches and horse people than they ever did milking cows.
So, and they've got to be pretty darn happy with the amount of moisture we've gotten out here in
Oh,
Colorado this year.
They're ecstatic.
I bet.
There's so much water. We're so blessed to have our lakes and rivers filled right now
Oh, man.
after the drought for the last 3 years.
I was going to say, I think this was the first year, and I don't know how many, a long time, that there is no longer a section of Colorado that's in drought.
Yeah,
Everything is.
It's great.
We're back.
It
reminds me a lot of the early 90s.
Yeah, early mid
I thought
90s.
we just got more moisture back then.
It was just a cyclical pattern. If you watch the sun and grand solar minimums and all that stuff that most farmers and ranchers do because they watch the weather,
right.
You'll understand it. It comes and goes.
Yeah, and you always see that, people, one of the things I like seeing is when, look at the record heat. 1924,
1931, 1924.
Yeah, we had these
way hotter than they are today, but
exactly.
No one looks that far back.
Right.
They read the newspaper, hottest day ever. And they think, nah, not really.
Exactly. Get into the details of it. Yeah. The clickbait aspect of it.
Exactly.
Well, one of the reasons we had you on here, man, is with the Raptor 6 Ranch. You have got some beef.
Yes.
That's coming up here. So talk to us about that, because anybody that's out here in the Colorado area, even if you're not in Colorado, get a hold of me. I'll get you in touch with Ray. We'll figure this out. I do a lot of driving around, and I'll be come September. I'm starting the next swing where I'm going to be heading Kansas. I'm going to be in Missouri. So, and we'll make sure also after we go through this here, we'll get your contact info and everything up on the video. We'll make sure that's on there so people can reach out to you. But talk to me about what you got going right now with the beef side of things.
Well, Raptor 6 Ranch, grass-fed, finished beef. And so every year, starting about this time, I put up what steers I have available, yearling steers available, and reserve them for next June, July slaughter. Since it takes 2 years to mature a grass-fed steer out here.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really, really good because you want the fat on them and everything, and it really lean meat.
Yeah,
grass fed. So taking offers now, it's half down. All my steers, finished out about 700-800 pounds hanging weight, and so we do them locally at a butcher in North Denver, and they come out, they clean it there, they process them there, and they take them in, hang them. It's state certified, about to be USDA certified, so I can sell by the cut here shortly.
Very cool.
So, we've been doing this 5 years now.
Nice.
Finally got big enough. We all had hard times during 2020 and everything, the whole COVID thing. And, so we're getting together. And like I said, we raise chicken, but that's more for personal use and family. They want to get on it just because of the cost involved. We're going to pasture chicken.
Right.
We also do horse stables. We're getting big on that.
You have stables for horses as well?
Yeah, we got a few coming up, and we're starting to pasture board horses also.
Nice.
But
and that's the thing I want people to make sure you understand is when we're talking about beef cattle that are grass fed, this is not the feeder lot thing that you drive by on Colorado roads out there that smells to high heaven and has 300 cows inside of a 10 square foot pen. It seems like. Yes. These are they're out and they live in the pasture.
Yeah, they have some trees for summertime, but I try to practice holistic management as best as I can. Sure. To one, my dad was a big conventional guy, and he just did everything the way they did in the 50s and 60s, chemicals and spray and everything. And then the cancer got him. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So we went total 180 holistic, bringing the land back, bringing the animals back. I've got raptors now that nest on the property.
Wow.
You know, I got bald eagles that come through. You know, the owls, the squirrels, the box tortoises are back. You know, it's just
Awesome.
everything. I don't spray.
Now, do you have ponds out there anywhere?
No ponds, just whatever I get from the sky and the good Lord he gives us. We
That's
make
right.
do with it. Since we rotate it, we don't have the pressure. We don't have the sand, all the blow sand flying everywhere, losing your topsoil.
Right.
So it's rotated, and we get, you know, really good. Even the last 3 years when we had this drought, since we rotated it and took care of the land, didn't have a shortage of feed.
Right.
So they fed off the pasture until January.
That is awesome, man.
And we trucked them in. So, you know, we do 2 shots just because we do have prairie dogs. And since the weather is so crazy out here from warm to hot, we do a bronchial shot just to keep the young calves happy. But that's not until they're 4 or 5 months old.
Right.
And we don't castrate the steers until they're almost a year old.
Jeez.
You know, so it's day in, day out. You know, check them twice a day, make sure they're good. You know, we still have coyotes and everything we got to worry about, but I don't kill the coyotes. If they don't bother my calves, I don't shoot the coyotes.
Sure.
I don't kill anything out there unless it's a nuisance.
So I was at the Wolf and Wildlife Conservation. I got a chance to go there. I have just a kindred spirit connection to wolves.
Yeah,
So
who
I have
doesn't,
since I was
really?
a kid.
You know,
And so my wife, for my birthday, we got a chance to go there, and I got to be in one of the pens, and
yeah,
you sit down and you get a chance to meet. There were 2.
they're huge, aren't they?
Oh my Lord, yes.
They're big.
I have to show you some pictures when we're done here.
Yeah.
But one of the things they were talking about with coyotes is that one coyote, when you look at how many prairie dogs it can annihilate, and it's basically when they eat the prairie dog, there is something in their system that whatever the disease that the prairie dogs are carrying, their system eradicates it. So when their scat goes, it has no trace.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So they're actually Mother Nature's balancing act to those things. So, and they had a pair of them there that I had no idea where these were coyotes, because when you see a well-fed,
they're big,
non-mangy, coyote, it's like, oh my gracious, this thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, we barely see the healthy coyotes.
It's hard,
We only see the mangy ones, and we'll dispatch those.
Yep.
To keep everything else healthy. You know,
we've got a family that lives right back in here. We can hear them every now and again. They'll start to, chattering when they make a kill, I think, out there.
Oh, I know. And, since I don't do that, I don't shoot everything else, and I don't apply holistic management.
Yep.
All the old timers around me, they just make fun of me. They're like, "What are you doing, Ray?" Am I, some kind of hippie? Am I? I'm a hippie rancher, I guess.
A hippie marine rancher.
I like to be healthy, I guess.
And that's the thing, though. I mean, it's there's a misnomer out there. Like we said this in the very beginning, is learning how to coexist together.
Yeah,
we can still, proper management, right? I mean,
this whole country used to have tens of millions of buffalo that run through once or twice a year.
Yep.
They tear everything up, and they rotate. It's like nature's rototiller. And then they run through it, and the grass would be, 6-7 feet tall.
Yep.
I'm just starting to get the natural grasses back. I've got some areas of grasses are, 6 feet tall.
Wow.
So it's paying off.
Yeah.
It is me. I'm, part Native American, and I like to see that come back.
Heck yeah.
And we didn't do that, so.
If the story of the American buffalo doesn't make you sick to your stomach on what we did to them, then there's something unplugged inside your head, in my mind.
Yeah.
Because that is, wow. When you consider, most people don't realize just how prolific that animal was.
Oh, yeah.
Right where we're sitting even.
Right here, they just run through here. I mean, hundreds of millions of them on this continent.
And to see what our ancestors did, in that case, it's like,
it looks back and like,
horrible.
Well, yeah. Greed and.
I was going to say it was never probably with malicious intent. It was just it was the greed took over, the desire to just keep going and going without checks and balances, right?
Well, that's a whole different podcast.
Sure.
That aspect of the area about malicious or not.
Right.
Some people were, some people weren't. but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Just folks not paying attention, you know, for sure. And so that's so cool that that you've got that style with the ranch itself. So we're talking half down now for butchering that'll take place next year.
Yeah,
June. So a year, basically, almost a year from now.
Basically, almost a year. I'll be sold out by December.
Nice.
Usually every year I sell it by December. That gives them 6 months, you know, because it's not cheap.
Oh,
it's
no.
not cheap to raise, you know, this beef out here.
Sure.
You know, so it's time consuming. The fuel's not, you know, cheap either. So that's why.
So, and what are the options for folks? Can they order like half a cow?
They can order quarters, halves, and fulls.
Quarter, halves, and fulls.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
for a time being, it's $7.50 a pound hanging weight. You know, so you know, a quarter is about 170 pounds.
Okay.
Before processing, so you pay for that hanging weight. You know, whatever you take the bones, everything's like I take everything off it and cook it and eat it.
Gotcha.
You know, so it's up to the person that that decides how much they really get. So if they don't take the bones and everything, they get about 140 pounds of meat.
Wow.
Off a quarter.
And does your processing do they have a choice on how they order that?
Yeah, they have a cut sheet at the processor.
Okay.
It's all online. They go in there, fill it out, and they'll ask them. I know the guys. They'll ask them who it's coming from. They just put my name on there, Ray Dolph, and it's all gets everybody. Plus, I coordinate it all before they even know. I give them all the names and their contact information before they even have to talk to the butcher.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and get what is the best way for folks to get a hold of you? Phone or email? Or?
Best way is phone.
Okay.
So it's 303 304 6356.
6356.
And email would be raptor6@raptor6ranch.com.
Yeah.
I have a website, but it's worthless.
Gotcha.
I don't have time to be on there. Anyway.
There's a lot of work involved in that.
A lot of work involved in that, and I'm just like, it's there. Okay,
So we have 303-304-6356.
Yes, sir.
And then Raptor 6, that's RAPTOR 6, the number 6.
Right.
Or spell out 6.
The number 6.
Okay, the number 6 at raptor6.com. We'll make sure that this stuff goes up on the video so folks can see that there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll keep this information here on hand for ourselves, that if someone reaches out to us, I'll pass them straight on to you that way.
Also, I like to, just put out there, if anybody in the local area, my fellow veterans who want to come out and, just work or see how it runs, bring your family, that's fine.
Sir.
Or if you want, everyone who wants to get together, you go to the back of my property and it's like you're 100 years ago because you can't see anything. It's surrounded by trees, some big old cottonwood trees. Everyone just get there and hang out and just shoot the shit, drink some whiskey. I'm all for it.
Well, this is a great segue here because we've talked about with the field ops division, outdoor engagement, just different things, anything to get us outdoors,
right?
To unplug for a while. And then, of course, the camaraderie, joining, like-minded individuals, like experiences, that sort of thing. You and I talked about this briefly because you had a house full of folks.
Yeah.
And then most recently here, Brian and I have talked about it a ton, and I kept saying I need to reach out and talk to Ray because, yes, this is absolutely something we would love to coordinate with you on is, hey, I got, a couple guys, and we're going to go fishing, for the day here, and then that evening,
oh, yeah,
we can come on out to the ranch.
Yeah, they come out
to see.
Do that. So my mother and her husband, my mother's a Air Force Reserve. Retired and Afghanistan veteran.
Oh, wow.
And her husband is Army Reserve, retired and Iraq veteran. Actually served in Iraq at the same time.
Wow.
Together. We just crisscrossed. But, they're moving out here, help out with the ranch. And
very cool.
Food, whatever. We'll come out. I'll provide it. Taste it. Whatever you want to do. Like I said, if kids want to get on a horse, get on a horse. I'm all about, sharing the Western activities that we're blessed to have. Roping, ranching, you want lessons or whatever, it's all there.
This is that common denominator that I mentioned about the Marines. I see this more and I maybe it's in all the other services too, but I can only attest to, because I have the pleasure of being around a lot of Marines, and that is serving others. It's part of who you are, man. It just, you will never stop. And it's something it sets the bar so high that I'm always trying to work towards that, because it keep with Brian. He's always thinking of the next thing and next people he can help and what we can do. You know, it's always on his head about where to go with this. Mike, Gasparini, always looking to do something for someone else. Yeah,
Mike's a good guy. Probably the best tour I ever had with him, and working with him and Brian in Iraq.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for you to open up, you know, the opportunity there, I'm excited about this, and I will absolutely work with you to try to coordinate some of these things.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You and I chat, figure out what could be like a cool afternoon or something that we, you know, or what maybe an evening time is a better thing that, you know, come out for the evening. Or
it depends on if it's hot, you know. Right.
You know? Yeah, because that far, you know, out in that area there, it is just like what we see in the back here.
It's open country. You know, we do have trees back there, but they're all Russian olives, so it gets kind of thick.
Yeah.
You know, cottonwoods, you have a few of them. It's fun to be back in there. But yeah, any of my veteran friends, you know, my brothers and sisters out there, no matter what service it is, you know, especially my combat veterans, my fellow brothers, sisters, you know, reach out, and we're glad to set something up.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not a nonprofit. We're standard S-type corporation.
Yep.
So, you know, just make things work, and we are a working ranch.
Well, and it goes to that. You reach out to us here at the True Patriot Outfitters Romans Warrior Foundation. We'll put you out there to the ranch. We'll make sure that you get, you know, we get connected like that.
Yes,
we'll take care of everything involved in getting them there.
Yeah.
So that way it's an easy deal for them, and it's no excuses.
No.
Get them out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
You bet, man. I'm looking forward to the future. Us working. Oh, yeah. You need beef? This is the guy you call, Raptor 6 Ranch. Check out there. We've got the phone numbers. We'll put those up again right now in the video, and that way you folks can get things set up. And I'm telling you, there is such a huge difference, man. There's some things that are kind of more hype than they are real. This is not.
No,
I have firsthand, and trust a fat guy. When it comes to good food, I know good food, and that was like unlike anything that we
had experienced. You know, I would throw chicken, some pork, whatever, on the smoker, grill us some steaks and burgers. We'll all be good. We have a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
I appreciate having me.
Folks, don't forget, smash that subscribe button for us out there. That is the huge way you can help support the TPO and the Romans Warrior Foundation with the mission we got going. Check out Raptor 6 Ranch when you get a chance out there. And as always, tight lines, everybody. Be safe.
On